guys, once again your host AxisBloxy with you, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another recreation in this month's modeling series. And this time it's none other than Deku from My Hero Academia. Once again brought to life inside of...
Choose your character!
This also marks the start of a new phase for the channel itself, where I plan to experiment next month with building time-lapses and longer creative processes. I'll talk more about that soon, but for now, let's focus on Izuku and journey behind this build. Before we jump in, I genuinely recommend that anyone who hasn't watched the series yet to take some time and do it. The show is not just about actions and heroes, it's about growth, failure, and learning how to move forward. Trust me, you won't regret it. We started this project using the default skin mesh from Blockbench, keeping things grounded and familiar. From there, the main goal was to block out the most noticeable and important shapes first, just enough to establish Deku's silhouette before moving on to the texturing. I always like to work with solid mode enabled at this stage because it gives a much clearer read on the overall form. And for me, silhouette is everything. If the shape doesn't feel right early on, no amount of detail can fully fix it later. So yeah. Deku is a character whose identity is deeply tied to growth. Not because his visual design constantly changes, but because his mindset, confidence, and purpose evolve throughout the story. The idea of progression became the core inspiration behind this recreation. Instead of locking myself into a single moment, I wanted this model to feel like a snapshot of multiple phases of Izuku's journey, hinting at who he is and who he's still becoming in the future. When it came to the style, I stayed true to a blocky and readable approach, as always, keeping everything close to the vanilla Minecraft look. That balance between simplicity and character is something I always aim for. I started with a 16 by 16 texture template to keep the focus on form and proportions rather than overloading the model with detail too early on. You might notice me that I only worked on one side of the model during this phase. This was intentional, as it allows the texture to be mirrored later on. It saves us some time, keeping the design consistent, and helps maintain symmetry where it matters the most. Once the silhouette felt solid, I moved on the texturing part. The first pass was, of course, very rough, using flat colors simply to map out where everything belongs. From there, I slowly refined the model, improving the eyes to better capture Izuku's expression, adjusting the hair to feel more natural, and polishing the texture step by step as the character began to come together. The version I choose to recreate is the Gamma costume. It's one of my personal favorites, because it represents Izuku's early steps as a hero while still carrying subtle hints of what he'll grow into later on. Even after reaching a point where the model looked finished, I still felt like it needed a push further. So you'll notice later on that I changed and refined a few details. It's not perfect, but learning is a big part of why I do this. YouTube, for me, isn't just about uploading finished work, honestly. It's a journey, and I see it as an educational platform where improvement happens in public. In a way, it also mirrors Deku's own story, so just like he had mentors guiding him, you guys play a similar role here. You will probably be often the first ones to point out what works and what doesn't, and what could be done better, of course. That feedback helps me grow, correct my mistakes, and offer better content over time. So genuinely, don't hesitate to let me know if something feels off or could be improved. I really appreciate that kind of honesty and it helps me a lot. To wrap things out, I added a few simple animations, nothing over the top of course, just some basic poses and movements to give Deku a bit of life and personality. At this point, the model was finally ready, so instead of explaining every last detail, I decided to let the scene speak for itself. If you enjoyed watching this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss future episodes like this. Let me know what you'd like to see next. And if you reach around 30 likes on this video, I'll consider giving away one Deku variation that you like the most for free. As always, I'll be keeping an eye on your comments. For now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the little Deku journey I prepared for you. Have a great rest of the day, and enjoy.
あの日からずっと君は私の最高のヒーローだったよ。